Imagine walking into a crowded room and feeling like every person is wearing the same mask. It's an unsettling image, isn't it? But what's more unsettling is realizing that at times you've worn that mask too. Not because you wanted to, but because society handed it to you and said, this is who you are now. The pressure to fit in, to conform, is relentless. But here's the truth no one tells you. The parts of you that don't feel like they belong, well, those are the parts maybe that the world needs most. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, where we peel back the layers society places on us and explore what it means to live fully, authentically, and courageously. My life has been shaped by contrast, from mystics and mentors to highs and lows that often left me questioning everything. And yet, if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that the path forward isn't about becoming someone new. It's about rediscovering who you've always been. Today, we're tackling the topic of homogenization. That's a big word. And why breaking free from homogenization might just be the most important act, maybe a rebellious act to some of us, but it might be the most important act that you might ever undertake. Homogenization is a word we don't use very often. I think the only place I've ever used it as a kid was around homogenized milk. Well, its effects, homogenization, the effects of homogenization are everywhere. And it says, it's the force that says, don't stand out, don't disrupt, follow the template. It's the invisible hand shaping how we dress, how we think, and even how we set our goals and objectives, maybe even how we dream. Society thrives on sameness because sameness is predictable. It's easy to market to. It's easy to control. But at what cost? Well, the frameworks that are supposed to connect us end up erasing the very things that make us unique. Well, Rave Cosmology VIII dives deeply into this concept, describing how humans are conditioned from birth to adopt a homogenized way of being, from the institutions we're part of to the media that we consume, to even the language that we use. Every aspect of our lives is influenced by systems designed to make us more alike. But here's the scary part. The longer we live in this state of homogenization, the further we drift from our true selves, the further we walk from our design. And when you abandon your design, life feels hollow. Frustration, bitterness, and even exhaustion start creeping in, not because you're failing, but because you're living a story that never was yours to begin with. The truth is this. What society portrays as safety, conformity, and belonging is often deeply disguised. It's a cage. And that's where the work of liberation begins, not out there in the world, but within. Because breaking free from homogenization isn't about, or it's not just about rebelling against the system, it's about rediscovering the parts of yourself that you've been told to hide. The teachings in human design, much like those in the Bible, say that each of us carries a unique blueprint, a way of being that's unmatched by anyone else. And when we align with that blueprint, when we stop trying to fit into molds that don't serve us, everything changes. Our energy flows freely and our decisions become clear and our lives begin to reflect who we truly are. But to get there, we have to unlearn everything society has taught us about what it means to be successful, likable, or worthy. Think about this. When was the last time you made a decision based on purely what you felt to be truly you? not what was expected of you, right? Not what was expected of you, not what seemed logical or part of your professional obligation or your education, but something that resonated deeply within you. For many of us, that sense of alignment feels like a faint memory, something we experienced in childhood before we grew up, before we stepped into, or someone else stepped in to correct us. And here's the exciting part. That alignment really isn't gone. It's still there waiting for you beneath the noise of this homogenization. Breaking free starts with awareness. Begin by noticing where you feel the pull to conform. Is it in the way that you present yourself at work, or the way that you interact on social media, the choices you make about your life path? Pay attention to the areas where you feel resistance, where you feel your energy is drained. Those are often spaces where homogenization has taken hold. But awareness is just the first step. The real transformation happens when you start making different choices, choices that align with your truth, even if they feel risky, even if they go against the grain. And yes, this may feel uncomfortable for a while. Living authentically in the world that rewards sameness and conformity isn't always easy. You might lose people along the way. You might face criticism or misunderstandings, but what you gain in return is invaluable. You'll gain yourself. One of the most powerful insights from Rave Cosmology VIII is that individuality isn't just a personal luxury, it's a collective necessity. When we hide our uniqueness, we deprive the world of the only gifts that we can really offer. Think of humanity as a puzzle, each of us as a distinct piece. And without your piece, the puzzle remains incomplete. When you live authentically, you don't just heal yourself, you heal the collective energy around you. If this sounds abstract, think of it as in practical terms. Imagine a workplace where everyone is playing a role rather than showing up as their true self. The environment becomes mechanical, uninspired, and stagnant. Now imagine a space where people are encouraged to bring their whole selves to the table, to share their unique perspective, to challenge norms, to create from a place of authenticity. That's not just a better workplace, that's a better world. Breaking free from homogenization doesn't require a grand gesture. It starts with small, intentional acts of self-expression. Wear the thing that feels like you, even if it's not fashion, or if it's not in fashion. Speak the truth that's been sitting in your gut, even if it's uncomfortable. Say no to the opportunities that drain you and yes to the ones that light you up, even if they don't make sense to anyone else. These small acts build momentum. They remind you of who you are and what you're here to do. What I want to leave with you today is this. You don't need to fit into society's mold to belong. Belonging doesn't come from sameness. It comes from showing up fully as yourself and finding others who honor that. It comes from releasing the masks and trusting that your worth isn't tied to how well you conform, but how boldly you show up as you. The world needs fewer copies and more originals. And the irony is, the more you step into your individuality, the brighter the collective becomes, because your unique light doesn't diminish others. It gives them permission to shine too. I'm Mark Roach, and this is Transcendent, wishing you all the best.